going on, tank enthusiasts? My name is Boz, and today I am bringing you the latest edition of my patch reviews for the upcoming update to World of Tanks Blitz patch 2.8. In this update, we'll see a variety of changes to profitability in tanks, so the way they make credits, as well as a brand new branch of Soviet tank destroyers leading up to the tier 10 Object 263, and some special features to do with consumables that I will go into later in this video. Anyway, back to probably the centerpiece of this update, the tier 10 tank destroyer, the Object 263, and the tanks leading up to it. Those being branching out from the SU-100 at tier 6, the tier 7 SU-101, the tier 8 SU-100M1, the tier 9 SU-12254, and the tier 10 Object 263. Now, the Object 263. Here I'm using the app Armor Inspector. It's a independent app. It's a great app. You can get different armor models up. You can show the percent chance of damaging modules as well as detonating things like ammo racks or setting different parts, so the transmission or engine on fire. It's a great app. It gives you a lot of in-depth analysis onto weak points of all the tanks. I'd highly recommend it. I have the paid version, so I have full access to the all of the upcoming updates and special features that come with the app. I'd highly recommend you guys do this as well, as it will support directly the developers of the app and will help them to keep creating and updating it as they do, and they're doing a fantastic job. Anyway, here I have the hull of the Object 263 with my idea of a basic tier 10 gun shooting back at it. The gun mounted on the tier 10 American heavy tank, the T110E5. It is shooting only AP, and as you can see from the different colours, it gives you sort of an idea of where you can and can't pen the tank, much like the armor penetration model in Blitz itself. So obviously the red, you're not going to be able to pen that. The upper plate is extremely thick if you're facing this thing front on. 350 millimeters of armor angled. It's very, very thick, as well as the upper hull, the cheeks either side of the gun mantlet, and the place where the gun is sort of embedded into the tank. That is also very thick. You're looking at some very high caliber guns and very high penetration shells to go through that. Sort of high explosive anti-tank premium ammunition on a Panzer V100, or potentially high explosive anti-tank ammunition on the Object 268, the 263's tier 10 Soviet tank destroyer's counterpart, which is already in the game. Now, couple of interesting things here. I am using the PC model for the Object 263, as obviously they haven't got round to putting in the Blitz model for 263 into the Armor Inspector yet, as the patch hasn't actually come out. But as we can see, it does have a few sneaky weak spots that not many people know about. The reason for this being, on PC, people usually, this is speaking for the vast majority of people, go from the SU-100 to the SU-152, the ISU-152, the Object 704, and then to the 268. As you know, that it's more fun, I think. The ISU-152 and the Object 704, of course, having those monstrous 152mm BL-10 guns, which is absolutely preposterous penetration for its tiers. It really is very good. Butter through E100s, you know, it's a great gun. The derp gun at the SU-152 is always fun. However, the 263 doesn't get a lot of love. It's not many people drive it if they have it, and not many people have it, period, in comparison to other tier 10s, which is why on PC a lot of people struggle to penetrate it. They don't know its weak points. You know, an E100 has weak points, its lower plate, of course, and the turret ring, as well as, you know, a lot of tanks that are played a lot, people will know the weak points for. But the Object 263 has always been that sturdy tank that never really gave in because people just don't know where to shoot it. So as you can see from the armor inspector model, you don't want to shoot it in the upper plate, you don't want to shoot it at the cheeks. I would advise you guys not shooting it above the upper plate but below the main hull, sort of the place where I'm aiming down right now, as the angle would probably induce an auto ricochet, that being when the angle is greater than, I think, 70 degrees, unless your gun completely overmatches the armor, which is when the gun's caliber is 3 times that of the armor thickness. Then you're looking at an auto ricochet there. However, one weak flaw of the Object 263 when you're front on is if he's reversing around a corner or if he's trying to angle, is obviously the lower plate. Always shoot for the lower plate if you can. However, these sort of side bits within the hull, where the gun's mounted, they're easily susceptible. You don't even have to fire gold at it. It really is quite easy to pen. I would advise trying to shoot underneath the gun mantlet. However, when you're when you're at a distance, I wouldn't bank on it, if I'm honest with you guys. Obviously, accuracy and dispersion, meaning that your shell's going to vary. However, if you can get it under there, you're guaranteed to damage it. As you can see, it's only 77%. Sorry, not 77%, 77 millimeters of armor thickness there. The sides and rear of this tank aren't very good. It's very, I'd like to say, focused. All of the armor is sort of condensed to the front. The sides are lined with ammo racks, as you can sort of see there. Also, when the gun's elevated, you have clear shots into the tank, as you can see there. So if you aim the gun up like that, you can have easy penetrations into the chassis. Also, if you're above the tank and you have enough gun depression, always shoot high explosive into the tank, because if you can shoot, because it's an open top tank, if you can shoot high explosive into the tank itself, you're guaranteed a pen. Doesn't matter the armor thickness, you're guaranteed a pen, because of course it's already in the tank, it's already doing the damage. The ammo racks on the sides, if you can get HE through that, so you're looking at a Death Star FE215B183 Tier 10 British tank destroyer, that's got a high chance to ammo rack it with its high explosive pen. The rear you could probably penetrate that with IS-7HE or another Tier 10. However, the Object 263, if you're facing it, aim for sort of where, well, as you can see, the green parts on here. Look for holes into the hull. Look for these side shots here, and always try and get out of the way of that gun, because it's quite fast firing. And in Blitz, I believe it's going to have 420 to 440 average damage, which is not huge amounts in comparison to things like E100s and stuff, but the rate of fire will be very good. And of course, you don't want to be caught in sort of a trading health with this thing, because its DPM is obviously going to be quite high. Here we are in game, viewing the news section of the World of Tanks Blitz portal, and as you can see, there's the model for the Object 263. It's very low profile, and here we have some important statistics and numbers for the vehicle. As you can see, 1,750 hit points. That isn't a lot. You know, the IS-7 has 2,050, the E100 has 2,300. Heck, even the Object 268 has more hit points than this thing. I think it could be the lowest hit point tier 10 to date. However, it's very light, it's got a very powerful engine, and it's going to be quite a nippy little thing. 55 kilometers an hour top speed is very respectable. A 30 degrees per second reverse speed is incredibly quick. The frontal armor is exceptional, except for the weak spots that I pointed out in the previous section of the video. The standard shell damage was my mistake. It's going to be even higher, 460 average damage per shell, which is the type of average damage you don't want to be in the front of. It's got very good penetration, 290 millimeters. That's a lot of penetration. That's enough to go through most of the tanks this thing will face with ease, really. 7.06 rounds per minute. It's got a very good DPM. Its dispersion is okay. It's not anything special by any stretch of the imagination. Its aiming time is also a bit long, so you're definitely gonna have to probably invest in an enhanced gun laying drive to decrease that aim speed if you can. As you can see, the sides and rear is the armor just isn't really good, so you don't want to be showing your sides or rear if you're driving this thing, or if you're facing it, try and get round it, but that 30 degrees per second traverse speed is going to prove very tricky. The tank itself, as you can see in the above picture, is open top, so shooting HE down into it, that's a very viable option. I'd like to point out my mistake from earlier in the video. The SU-100M1 is at tier 7 and the SU-101 is at tier 8. I misread completely. In other news for patch 2.8, Winter Malinovka is being completely revamped. The altitude differences on the map have completely changed. The mill has been leveled out slightly. There's no more lumps and bumps that guns can depress over. It was becoming rather imbalanced in the fact that tanks with the most armor and gun depression were easily winning the mill, and from there you had shots just about all over the map unless tanks went flanking around the lake. And also, as you can see in the comparison before and after 2.8, the lake, the water, has completely disappeared now. It's no longer there. It's also a lot more level and in line with the cap circle and the mill than it was previously. The lake now has been replaced by sort of little islands with tank wrecks and a little bit of water outlining them. The cap is now on level with the mill, so the mill has been severely reduced in altitude. The map is a lot less cluttered than it was before. The buildings are more spaced out, and I think this will encourage a more passive style of play than, first come, first serve at the mill and farming damage from there. The key modifications here, the village zone and routes to the windmill have been reworked to be more convenient for heavy tanks, because heavy tanks were certainly struggling to get up there quickly. The spawns have been dispersed. This is quite good because the spawns were very sort of compact, and by compact I mean they weren't close together, however they were compact in the sense that one would be at the bottom of the hill, especially at the north spawn. They'd be very compact, and one set of tanks would be at the bottom of the hill and the others at the top, and the heavy tanks would struggle to get up there and get to the mill, which is where the map would be won or lost. The battle would be won or lost in time to help out their team, and then you get the standard noob team in chat and insults thrown your way, but you gotta love it. It's World of Tanks, isn't it? Tank destroyers' positions allowing long distance firing have been significantly reduced. That was an issue. Tank destroyers were charging, well, they were camping really. They were charging to the top of hills and just staying there for the entire map, farming damage. That isn't the kind of thing you want to be encouraging, especially at higher tiers when you've got things like Death Stars with 183mm HESH shells and AP shells just doing 1000 plus damage to you consistently. It's just not fun. I know myself have been ammo racked many a time in my IS7 from camping Jaegeroos and Death Stars. So yeah, I think this change will be a very happy one for players. Although, as with all map changes, it's going to take a bit of getting used to and learning the maps again. Another key issue addressed in the upcoming update is the way tanks make credits and the profitability of different tanks. As you can see, there is a disclaimer: the profitability of premium vehicles will remain on the same level, so premium vehicles, you should not see a difference as it is staying constant. As always, premium vehicles, I believe, add 50% profitability and experience on credits when you play them compared to normal standard tanks. There's been a lot of complaints about tanks, you're losing credits because the repair costs are too high, or you're just not making credits. The resupply of ammunition is very high. The tank is just generally expensive to run. Now, in the news portal, as we can see, all of the different tanks that have been affected here. So, I think what I want to focus on here is the Japanese Tier 5 reward premium, the Panzer IV Anko. A lot of people, it wasn't hard to get. It was 40 wins. Anybody could have got that. And a lot of people did. However, the profitability has gone down, which means it is no longer classed as a premium vehicle. Whereas things like a Death Star, the FV215B183, its profitability, its ability to make credits has gone up by 24%, and its repair costs have gone down by 26%, which means you're probably going to be making more credits. Unless, of course, you're a scumbag and you fire all hash. We hate you, sincerely, the rest of the World of Tanks Blitz community. The final major change coming in patch 2.8 is the new provisions. They are basically consumables that are automatically activated at the start of a battle and will not deactivate until the battle ends. It will be coming in update 2.8, and basically that question, do I want an automatic fire extinguisher and drop the extra crew skill training for the case of cola and stuff, or do you think the multi-purpose restoration pack will cover it? It's that sort of impasse between the two. You just can't decide, and you have to sort of rely on RNG and luck to sort of avoid that kind of thing. But provisions are here to save the day. They are also cumulative. It's very nice. It's also going to be very helpful in the way that people deal with various situations, because it's become sort of easy to use your restoration pack, and I've noticed a lot of people using their repair kits and restoration packs at times when they really didn't need to. I know for one that sometimes I'll get tracked, not always in the open, and I'll leave myself tracked until my crew repair it. But now it's sort of got rid of that sort of, do I take the extra repair kit or do I drop crew mastery for automatic fire extinguisher. These provisions will add a cooldown to consumables, so if you activate a repair kit, it will have a 60-second cooldown, much like a multi-purpose restoration pack. Of course, you'll be charged credits for this, so it's going to be quite costly, as well as, you're adding on your ammo costs, your repair costs, and camouflage. But this will be interesting, to say the least. Here you can see the different cooldown times. The first aid kit will have a 90-second cooldown. In fact, everything will have a 90-second cooldown. Sorry, not a 60-second cooldown. A 90-second cooldown, which is a minute and a half, which takes up a good proportion of the battle. So I suppose that's kind of a balancing factor. It really is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it will change the way some games are played out, and the way some people are more aggressive and they're looking for duels. I'll try and bring you some gameplay on it in an upcoming video. However, me personally, my thoughts, the Object 263 line I've been saving like crazy. As you can see here, I have 6 million credits and 104,000 free XP just saved up over time. But as for the update, the 263 line I'm looking forward to. There's going to be some great tanks. The main centerpiece, of course, being the tier 10 and maybe the tier 9. But let's just see how it all pans out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next chapter. One last thing I'd like to bring up is thank you all for voting in this little straw poll I posted in the comments of the last video. Thank you for taking 10 seconds or so out of your schedules to just vote on this. As you can see as well as I can see, you guys really want to hear some live TeamSpeak audio. I'll see what I can do about that. It really does depend if somebody wants to be publicly humiliated on the internet with me. But no, I'm sure somebody out there will help me out with this. The tank review, one of you people want it. Any tanks that I have, you can look up what tanks I have on in my in-game profile. Just hit me up with a comment and I'll see if I can buy it back and do whatever with it, and I'll try and review it to the best of my ability. The IS7 review is outdated. I don't feel like it was up to scratch looking back on it, really, even though it was only such a short time ago. But anyway, on that note, guys, I'll leave you be and see you in the next chapter, hopefully with live TeamSpeak audio. See you later, guys. Bye.